Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, or what is for many of you the hottest day ever imagined on planet Earth. But you are here for an episode of Tactical Breakdown, the show in which we look at the players that Arsenal could, should, maybe, and fingers crossed we'll hopefully see signed for the Arsenal this summer. It's been a while since we've done one of these, in fairness. We've been doing a lot of raw reaction shows, and that's basically been down to the fact that we've been linked with a lot of players we've been linked to throughout the summer, the likes of Wilfried Zaha, Kieran Tierney, and of course Dani Ceballos and William Saliba, who obviously both signed for Arsenal today. And I put a raw reaction show out earlier in the day, a couple of hours ago, talking about the signing of Dani Ceballos, which was then superseded by, of course, Arsenal announcing another player, just as you release a video about someone. Of course, football in the way it is releases more news for you to go, but we're not going to do another one of those shows today. We're actually going to do a raw reaction show, Q&A special with Jeremy Smith, the French football expert. He'll be here tomorrow to have a bit of a Q&A session about William Saliba, so you'll know everything you need to know on the Frenchman tomorrow. But today you are here for a tactical breakdown on someone who can actually provide us some defensive cover for this season, not with William Saliba obviously coming in the following season after returning on loan to Saint Etienne. But Daniele Rugani is the reason you're here. I hope you're enjoying the series, and if you are, please give it a like, please subscribe with those notifications turned on so you never miss a show. If you turn those notifications on, you get told when we go live, when we do our raw reaction shows, which will be tomorrow. So please do hit that subscribe button and leave your comments in the comment section below. The comments, as always, are great and I much enjoy reading them. The debate's always good, the football knowledge is good. There are some frustrations, which is acceptable and completely understandable considering how slow our transfer business has been. But maybe it's going to start to step up, and it could certainly start to step up if we sign a position where we're desperately in need of reinforcement, and that is at centre-back for this season. So Daniele Rugani. Now I'm going to go into the analytics and the statistics of Daniele Rugani like we usually do in Tactical Breakdown, but before I do, I've got a bit of a treat. I've got two Italian football experts that are going to give you the breakdown on Daniele Rugani and give you all the expertise that you need. We're going to start off with Richard Hall. Richard Hall works for Football Italia, knows plenty about Juventus and Italian football and the Milan clubs as well specifically, but Rugani, he knows all about him, so I'm going to pass over to Richard, who is going to give you all the latest info on the Italian.
So Daniele Rugani to Arsenal. What do we know about Rugani from a Juventus point of view? It's an interesting acquisition if Arsenal can make this work, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, Rugani at Juventus was one of the main talents of Italian football, seen by the Azzurri as one of the defenders that was really going to emerge over the last couple of years. One of the most talented defenders we've seen in Serie A for some time, and yet it hasn't quite worked. I think under Allegri there was to understand this is to understand Juventus in some respects. Juventus' team is built to win and built to win now, hence the signing of Cristiano Ronaldo, hence the signing back of Bonucci. These are all key points. Juventus was set up to win the Champions League. They're going under a transition now, almost as in the sense of look at the kit for the American market, look at the change of badge, it's for the brand. Juventus are set up to win. Rugani is a player that needs nurturing, and Allegri didn't have that time to do it. Interestingly about this is Maurizio Sarri, since he's come in, has worked with Rugani before at Empoli. So the question is, can he develop under Sarri? Sarri seems to think so. So the rumours that he will go to Arsenal are strange that Sarri would actually let him go. But the difference is the pressure is on Sarri now, and so he will have to also deliver. Now, look at it from an Arsenal perspective. Unai Emery, the players that Arsenal having to buy, not just because of the financial constraints that we're led to believe, but also the fact that he wants to nurture these players. We've seen that the links with the young, almost how can we put this? I mean, you guys as Arsenal fans will know better than me. The fact that they're looking at a new brand of Arsenal in a sense. Rugani fits into that perfectly. He's a sort of defender who will make mistakes. He will make mistakes, and he will at times he lacks confidence, but talented, the ability, technical ability, mental ability, the way he can play with the ball at his feet, he's exceptional. This is one of the, like I said before, one of the most promising defenders in Italy. No one's giving him time. It's as simple as that. If Unai Emery can get him on board and have him give him time with the likes of a really good back four, around him, the potential's endless. My little worry, and the one thing I would be concerned of, is while we've seen with Arsenal development, people like Rob Holding over the past couple of years, I think that's probably the best way I could see it. He will be in the development process. The only thing is he probably will need experienced heads around him. But from an Arsenal point of view and the money they could probably get him for, I think he's a really good buy. Not only that, the Juventus fans are split. So I think if Rugani comes into Arsenal, what do I expect from an Arsenal fan? Quite simply, an exceptional talent, all the technical abilities, everything you'd want in a defender. However, give him time, let him learn from the experienced players. And I think that in the future, I mean, when you look at development of Rob Holding, you look at the maybe Rugani, wow, that could be excellent. And potentially Arsenal have got a real deal on their hands there. But as I said before, it's all about time. So let's see.
Yes, Rich, it is definitely all about time, and it is running out for Arsenal at the moment. Time is certainly something which we can't take for granted, and we need to push these deals through. But Rich there, and you can find Rich on Twitter at RichHall80, working for Football Italia, and basically I can't emphasise the points that he makes enough. Rugani, from doing more research on the guy, is certainly someone that's shown, especially in his time at Empoli, the talent that he definitely has, and something that Arsenal could harness and use to their advantage if they so choose and do it so wisely. The key issues that I take with what Richard said is that, as he says, that he needs experienced heads around him. And whilst you've got the likes of Socrates, the player that I'm going to compare him to in a little bit, that is experience. But this Arsenal defensive line, we know, I know, you know, has a lot of issues with it in terms of its consistency and in terms of the amount of mistakes it makes. So possibly Rugani, in that sense, could come into an already damaged back line, and it might be not the type of environment that he basically needs. I'm now going to pass over to Sam Brookes, who works for Football Radar, and Sam's going to give you his take on Daniele Rugani and all of his traits and strengths and his weaknesses. So enjoy and listen to what Sam thinks of Rugani.
So Daniele Rugani is linked with a move to Arsenal. Has been for a while now, actually. The Juventus defender. So just looking at what he could bring to Arsenal next season. He's 24 years old, turns 25 next week. So still relatively young. And he does have plenty of experience at Juventus. They've been getting to the last stage of the Champions League for years. They've won the Scudetto the last 8 years on the trot, so he does have plenty of experience. He got plenty of opportunities last season as well. Giorgio Chiellini, the first choice centre-back for Juventus, is now 34 years of age, so was getting rotated regularly. And Leonardo Bonucci had a couple of injury setbacks as well. So Rugani did get his chance last season. He's very competent on the ball, brings the ball out of defence quite well. But in terms of his weaknesses, he does have lapses in concentration, which isn't good news for Arsenal fans because they've had plenty of those defenders over the years. But yeah, 24, so a great age for a defender. Juventus fans were hoping that he'd kick on a bit more in the past few years. He came to them 4 years ago, so he has had his chance to make his point, but he's never established himself as a first choice. He's always seemed to be a backup option for them, hence why he's constantly linked with moves away. So if he does go to Arsenal, it would be good for him in that he can further develop and really establish himself as a first choice player. But last season, he was expected to kick on more, and he did get his opportunities but didn't necessarily take them. So Arsenal fans will be hoping that he can do a little bit more this season for them.
So thanks very much to Sam giving his thoughts. You can find Sam at FRCalcioSam on Twitter. You can find the rest of his stuff at Football Radar, brilliant football site talking in basically similar to this, analytics and statistics and looking at things and in sort of a different direction. So a great football site to definitely go and check out. But Sam said there, what I liked about it is that he played a lot of games last season. As Sam says, he got his chance at Juve last season, which is no easy feat considering the amount of players of defensive skill that they have in their team, with Chiellini, yes, getting older, but still a very, very good defender. Bonucci, obviously, who returned from AC Milan, a very good defender as well. And Rugani stacked up and did well in the fixtures that he played last season. But again, being echoed from what Sam and Richard said, is that the confidence is possibly lacking at times because of the mistakes that he can make. And it's clear that he's someone that needs defensive players around him that have experience and skill and quality that can sort of take him through. Now that is a little bit negative for me, because I want someone who's going to come in at Arsenal and really take that back line by the scruff of the neck and transform it into a much better side. And maybe we're not going to get that with Rugani. But for the price that's being quoted around media that we could get him for a player of his quality, still 24, turning 25 very soon, as Sam said, I think it's an absolute no-brainer in terms of the fee that we could pay. He could definitely improve. We've got players around him. We've got the likes of Celeber coming in next season, obviously not this season. And you could find a real strong partnership with those two growing. You've got the likes of Rob Holding as well to provide more competition. And I think Rugani's coming into a lineup, if he were to come in, that would definitely allow him to thrive. But let's look at some of the statistics and the stats. Let's start off talking about his defensive stats, and I'm going to put him in comparison to Socrates. Before I go into defensive stats, so let's have a look at the positioning. So on the heat map you can see on your screen now, they're still very much weighted towards that right-hand side. That right-hand side is definitely where he plays more often. And Socrates playing in a back three, you can see there's a lot more movement on the field from him, but not really the main part of the breakdown I want to look at. It's more the defensive statistics where Rugani really comes into his own. So if we look at them, you can see them on your screen now. Defensive duels, Rugani 3 times the amount of success in his defensive duels, and although Socrates has slightly more being done, the levels of success in the duels that he makes is so much higher than the Greek defenders. The way he gets back and challenges, you can see from the graphics on your screen now, getting the ball in key scenarios and key places, that although he does make some errors, the key timing of his challenges that save Juventus and create time and allow his fellow defenders to get back, and he wings the ball back really well, is invaluable to his game, and something that Arsenal could definitely do with when they leave themselves exposed, which we see so often because unfortunately the complacency of other players on the pitch. Aerial duels, he's more successful than Socrates, but he doesn't have to get involved in as many. Interceptions are very close. Socrates only doing 0.2 more than Rugani each 90 minutes. In terms of losses, Rugani loses the ball less than what Socrates does, even though Socrates loses it less in his own half. But the amount of losses that Rugani actually does do, being a lot less than Socrates, is definitely positive in the Italians' favour. Recoveries are in the Italians' favour again, more on that side, and he recovers the ball more in the opposition's half. As Sam said, he likes to take the ball out of defence, which can leave him more further up the field and be more of a not so passive defender. So winning it in the opposition half is also something on his agenda. In terms of blocks, it does more block shots than what Socrates does, but Socrates does clear the ball more than the Italian. Moving on then to his passing stats, we know that defensive players need to have a wide array of passing to be able to find those balls in behind and spray the ball well. But in terms of passes, Socrates and Rugani are pretty much even in terms of their accuracy and the amount of passes they make. Socrates slightly edges it, but it's good to see that there's a high level of accuracy going on there from Rugani in the 90 percentiles. In terms of long passing, Socrates does take those in terms of number and accuracy, which is a shame, but Rugani, for me, as long as he's focusing on getting those short passes up in that 90% range of accuracy, for me that is still a strong statistic for him. Passes to the final third, Rugani actually takes those more that he makes in those games, and much more effective than Socrates, which is good. Finding that ball to the wing backs if he's playing in a back three, or finding the ball to one of the wingers, is going to be key as a sort of a secret weapon for Arsenal to find those players in behind to run onto the likes of the pace of Aubameyang. Who knows, maybe even Wilfried Zaha next season. And then forward to backward pass ratio, again, is very, very similar for those two. There's no sort of real lean towards a defensive sort of side of his passing. They always want to pass the ball forwards much more than they do backwards, which is great. So not much sideways passing, which really does annoy a lot of the Arsenal fans. But that pretty much rounds off the statistics and the analytics of Daniele Rugani. So again, big thank you to Richard and to Sam for their breakdown of the Italian defender. But ultimately, I want to know what you think about Daniele Rugani? Is it someone that you want? Do you think it's a good deal for Arsenal to bring him in, or do you think Arsenal should be targeting some more established and more experienced centre-backs, more in the likes of Armando Izzo, another compatriot of Rugani, someone that I've definitely pushed for? But maybe you want Rugani and think he's got a lot of potential that we could definitely harness at Arsenal. But again, please do let me know in the comments below, and please like the video if you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you're new with those notifications turned on, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the Salaba Q&A. Enjoy your, well, what has been an absolute sweltering day in England, wherever you are. Again, feel free to let me know the temperatures. I did enjoy reading through those comments previously. But we'll see you again very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.